for coming. Okay, ladies, we're going to get started with our class. Tanya, we're glad that you're here. Take out pen and paper. Mary Kay tells us that the faintest ink is worth more than the most retentive memory, so take notes. My name is Cindy Williams. I'm an Executive Senior Sales Director with Mary Kay Cosmetics, and I'm so excited about our recruiting class today. You know, recruiting is as simple and easy as sharing good news with a friend, talking from your heart about why you love what you do. And our goal today is to give you a little more confidence, a little more knowledge, and some suggested words to use to help you get better results from your recruiting efforts. Basically, recruiting is a three-step process: listening for clues to identify your prospect, listening for key things they may say like, I sure could use some extra money, or I'm really not happy with my job. They might show an interest in you by saying, do you really enjoy what you do? Or, can you really make money in Mary Kay? And that's your key to tell them more about our opportunity. Encouraging a prospect to hear about the opportunity. Many people don't know if Mary Kay is something they would consider for themselves or not because they really don't know what we have to offer. Encourage them to be more open-minded, more receptive to hearing about Mary Kay. Extending the invitation, extending them the opportunity to hear the facts, to hear the marketing plans so they could make an intelligent decision if Mary Kay is something that they might consider for themselves. That could be through an interview where you sit down with them and explain it. It could be through taking a guest with you to your skincare classes so they can see it from the consultant side and see you making money. Or to invite them to come to your success meeting, to be your guest, to meet your sister consultants and your director and see that success and that esprit de corps that we have in Mary Kay Cosmetics. You know, your skincare classes, your facials, and your reorder business is your immediate cash flow, and we all get excited about that, don't we? But recruiting is another avenue of income and an important part of building your future in Mary Kay Cosmetics. Don't you agree? And aren't you excited about that? You know, your very best recruiting prospects will come from your skincare classes, your facials, and your existing client base. But every day you'll meet people and you'll think, gosh, she'd be great doing what I do. Don't prejudge. The best booking prospects are the best recruiting prospects. So first you must book. Let's take a look at a role-playing situation where Director Joyce Grady demonstrates how to schedule an appointment with someone that she does not know through conversational booking.
May I borrow your pen, please?
Oh, certainly.
Thank you.
Oh, I see you're with Mary Kay.
Yes, I am. Have you ever heard of Mary Kay?
Well, yes, I have.
Great. Well, I'd like to offer you a complimentary facial. My name is Joyce Grady. What's your name?
I'm Jerry Davis.
Well, fantastic. This is my card. And Jerry, what I'd like for you to do is write your name and number down, and I'm going to give you that complimentary facial.
A complimentary facial. What does that involve?
Oh, we teach women how to take care of their skin and then use a basic glamour. It's a lot of fun.
I don't know. I don't have much time. I have so many things to do.
Well, I'll tell you about it when I come over. It doesn't take that long, and you will really enjoy it. Do you live around here?
Yes, I do. I live in Hanover.
Uh-huh.
I just recently returned from overseas.
Great. Do you have any children?
I do have children. I have 4 boys, and they're 22 years old, a 21-year-old, a 12, and a 10. And they just keep me so busy, I don't know when I'm going to have time for this facial.
I know what you mean, but listen, when I come to give you that facial, it doesn't take that long. I have 2 boys, 2 and 1, just graduated from college, and I am so glad.
I'm waiting for that day.
Great. Let me have your card. This is your pen, but let me write this down. I'm available on Wednesday afternoon, maybe about 4:30.
Oh, Wednesday is not a good time for me. My little ones play basketball, and we'll be at practice at that time.
Okay. How about Saturday, maybe about 4:30?
Saturday. 4:30 is not good for me.
Mm-hmm. What would be a good time for you?
5:30?
Fantastic. That's a good time for me. I can do that. And Jerry, I have a beauty book. This tells you a little bit about Mary Kay and our products. I want you to look at that. And when I come to see you on Saturday, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I do.
Sounds great to me.
Okay. Well, you're next.
It's been nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
Okay, bye-bye.
We've just seen how Joyce extended an invitation for a complimentary facial from someone she had never met and scheduled a Mary Kay appointment. There are going to be lots of opportunities for you to schedule appointments. And with in your everyday life, just walking around, we call it conversational booking. Did you also notice how at the end of the conversation, she also added, you know, I'd love to tell you a little bit more about what I do. Planting that seed from recruiting from the very, very beginning, I think is a good idea to start getting them thinking and being more open-minded. about Mary Kay. One of the things that you might want to say, I might notice if Jenny was really good with people, if she was a sales clerk, I might say, you know, I couldn't help but noticing how good you work with people. I'd love to tell you a little bit more about what I do. Here's my business card. Or I'd love to get your opinion of my product and get to know you better, make a new friend in this area. You might find that's a wonderful way to lead into the conversations. What are some other ways that could be opening lines for you to open a conversation with someone that you don't know?
Cindy, what do you think about talking about the face-to-face makeover program as a way to start a conversation?
That is a great idea, Carolyn, and I really feel like it's one of the very best tools that the company has designed for us to help us with our booking. It's great to have it with you. I would recommend putting it in your brief or your tote bag and having it with you so that when you meet people, you can let them see a sample of people that are real-life Mary Kay customers, not professional models. And I think if they can see other people in your book, that would give them more excitement about being in your portfolio and trying your products. I think that's an excellent idea. But sometimes they may say no initially, but by pulling out that book and showing it to them, I think you will have a more positive response to them saying yes. What's another way that you might introduce yourself or an opening line about Mary Kay?
What about paying her a compliment?
That is one of the best ways to start a conversation with a woman. Don't you agree that all of us love to be complimented? But make sure, ladies, that it's a sincere compliment. Underline sincere. You must talk from your heart and sincerely compliment her and just say, you know, I couldn't help but noticing how beautiful your hair looks or how professional you look today. I'm with Mary Kay Cosmetics and I am in the beauty business. I'd love to give you my card and get your opinion on my product. Just let that flow in. Sincere compliments is a wonderful way for you to talk to people and get them excited about trying Mary Kay products. Our goal is to have our prospective recruits try our products first so they can know how great this product is and experience it for themselves. That's your goal, to have them be a customer or at least have tried the products first. So when you meet someone that you'd love to share the opportunity with, a great way for you to share it with them would be to say, you know, I'd love to get your opinion of my product. There are going to be opportunities to book and to recruit all the time. And if you see someone you think, wow, she would be a great Mary Kay beauty consultant, offer her your product. Okay, does that make sense? There is a step-by-step proven method that we use in Mary Kay Cosmetics to give us results. It was designed by Mary Kay, and it's the 4-point recruiting plan. I want you to write this down and learn it and use it. It is very effective. A, ask the hostess at your skincare classes, who's coming today, who you feel would be good at doing what I do? And I think you should give her a couple of suggestions from there. Maybe you could add, maybe someone that could use a little extra money or needs more freedom and flexibility in their life. Maybe there's someone that needs some excitement or some glamour or some fun. Maybe they would be interested in Mary Kay. Give an enthusiastic talk. In your flip chart on the page with the beautiful red car, it talks about an unlimited career opportunity. Here is where you are going to give a heartfelt, enthusiastic talk about why you love what you do. It may be even a good idea to close your book and hold it so they're giving you their undivided attention, so they're really listening to your heart when you talk about Mary Kay. I also like to customize my flip chart by adding pictures of me receiving an award from my sales director or at seminar. Maybe your highest retail sales week ribbon hanging in your flip chart would be a great idea, or your highest skincare class, or maybe you with friends, showing the esprit de corps, or you with your family, showing that flexibility. Think about your skincare class as the perfect arena with which to share your Mary Kay business. When's the last time you had 6 guests at your success meeting? Maybe not too often, but every skincare class is a great opportunity for you to tell them more about what you do and just do an advertisement. Plant that seed and open their minds a little bit more to what Mary Kay has to offer them. The next part is to select one person. Mary Kay tells us there is a Mary Kay beauty consultant at each and every skincare class. So listen. Recruiting is listening. Listen during the class. Listen to what she has to say. Start finding her needs. Recruiting is filling her voids with what we have to offer, and by listening during the class, you will hear what her needs are. And at the individual closing, you will be able to maybe fill her needs, or at least plant that seed about how Mary Kay could fill those needs. And then offer the hostess a gift. It could be something like a fragrance or the professional brush collection, something that she could get excited about. That could even be done at the beginning of the class when you talk to her and ask her who's coming today. If you refer someone to me that's accepted as a beauty consultant, I'll have a special gift for you. One way to remember the 4-point recruiting plan, just to jar your memory, is to say A, ask, tell, select, offer. ATSO. Ask, tell, select, and offer. And if you'll do that at every skincare class, I guarantee that you will start getting more results from your recruiting efforts. And the next scene, Joyce has scheduled an appointment with someone that she did not know at the bank, had a facial, and then booked her for a skincare class and had Jerry be her hostess. At the end of the class, Joyce is going to use that as an opportunity in the individual closing to tell her more about the Mary Kay opportunity and offer her the opportunity to become a Mary Kay beauty consultant. Let's see how Joyce does that in her individual closing of her skincare class.
Jerry, your class was really good. And look, you even earned enough hostess credits to get the gift you wanted.
That's great. I really like the products.
I knew you would. Jerry, remember I told you I like to get together and tell you a little bit about what I do?
I remember.
Well, you have those 4 boys, and I thought about you. You know, I have 2 sons, and because of my Mary Kay career, I was able to help pay for their college education. I think you'd be great doing what I'm doing.
You know, I don't know about this. I don't have time for anything.
Jerry, you'll never know until you get all the facts and information. I have some great literature that I'd like to share with you. I have a business perspective, a focus on independence brochure, and a videotape called Career Moves. It would give you a lot of information about our company. Is there any reason why we couldn't get together maybe about 4 o'clock tomorrow?
Joyce, I'm still not sure about this. I don't know what my husband's going to say.
I can understand. We've found that most men enjoy reading the business perspective. Let him read this, and when I come talk to you, I'll talk to you both at the same time and give you all the facts and information. Which would be good for you? Is Thursday a good time? Maybe about 5 o'clock?
That's a good time.
Great.
Did you notice how Joyce listened carefully and learned more about Jerry so she could tailor her remarks on what Jerry needed to hear? Our goal as recruiters is to expose our prospects to enough about the Mary Kay opportunity that we find their hot button. Whether it's money, career, goals, flexibility, whatever they're looking for, if we expose them to enough, then we will know how to go in there and then tell them more about what they need to hear. Our responsibility is to share the facts and the Mary Kay way of life with these people, but the ultimate decision to become a Mary Kay beauty consultant lies with them. Today you're going to learn how to share more about that. Now, if you notice, Joyce used several things to follow up with Jerry. She used the Career Moves video. She used the Focus on Independence brochure and the business perspective, which she told Jerry would be a good idea to let her husband look over. Mary Kay offers us many, many wonderful tools to use in recruiting. One of them is the Career Moves reprint, which is a success story of several different people, real-life people that have become successful in Mary Kay. I personally love to share this with people. This is something you could feel comfortable dropping in a reorder bag or just passing it out. Put your name and phone number on it so they would call you, but get these out so people know more about what Mary Kay has to offer. The Focus on Independence audio cassette tape is a great tool for someone that works a full-time job, let's say, and it's too busy to get with you. You can give this to them. They can listen to it back and forth on the way to work. And maybe just by listening, they would become more open-minded to hearing the marketing plan and the actual facts about the company. The Mary Kay Recruiting Notebook is also available to us as beauty consultant. It comes with pictures on each page that you slip right in there with a suggested script to use to help you introduce that person to more about Mary Kay. I would recommend personalizing your recruiting notebook. Pictures, maybe you at a banquet or a star consultant function, the glamour and the glitz, you at your skincare class or your beauty shows, and a little bit about your family and the flexibility that Mary Kay offers. I love this because it's small, I can keep it in my purse, and it gives me the opportunity to talk about Mary Kay wherever I go. You're not going to have the perfect situation at all times. So you have to seize the moment and take advantage of that little spark of interest. Oh, by the way, flip through here and see if you can see a little bit more about what I do. It might be something you would consider for yourself. The many things that we have offered to us as beauty consultants, you have to decide which one do you use at the right time. One thing that would help you to determine that is whether you would describe this person as a picture person, where the recruiting notebook would be very appealing to, or maybe a fine print person where the business perspective would give them a little bit more details about what Mary Kay had to offer to them.
Cindy, what about giving her the Perfect Start workbook or the Consultant's Guide?
Susie, that's a great idea, but don't you agree it might be a little overwhelming if a prospective recruit had those workbooks and that guide and thinks she has to read and know that entire workbooks before she even made a decision. I think that would be something I would save to give to her after she decided to become a Mary Kay beauty consultant. But I'm glad you brought that up, because sometimes we think, well, just give them everything, and if they just read everything about Mary Kay, then of course they would want to be a part. Don't overwhelm them. Really, they only need to know enough information to make a decision if they would like to go ahead and become a Mary Kay beauty consultant. Robin Rowland is a Mary Kay sales director, and she's going to show you through role-playing of a situation where she follows up with one of her preferred clients to check on a reorder, plants the seed about Mary Kay, and then schedules an appointment. Let's see how Robin handles working with one of her preferred customers to set up a recruiting opportunity.
Hello?
Hey, Vicki, it's Robin with Mary Kay. How are you?
Well, hey, Robin.
You sound out of breath. Are you just coming in the door?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I am. Just threw my briefcase down.
Golly, it's a little bit late to be coming in from work.
Seems like that's all I say to you lately, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is, which, you know, it just gives me a perfect time to say to you, you really ought to talk to me about what I do.
Robin, you say that, and my answer seems to always be the same. I just don't see myself doing what you do.
Well, you know, Vicki, you really don't know what I do because we've never had a chance to sit down and talk about it. But maybe sometime we'll get a chance to. Let me tell you why I'm calling. I'm going to be in your area a little later in the week. How are you doing on products? Is there anything I can bring to you while I'm coming that way?
Well, I'm doing fine, but as a matter of fact, your timing couldn't be better because
Really?
I am running low on a couple of things.
Good. Well, what can I bring you?
I need some oil control lotion, and I also need some foundation.
Okay, great. Well, I'm going to be over in your area on Thursday. Is there any reason why I couldn't just drop it off to you then?
Oh, that'd be great, Robin, because I am running kind of low on the foundation.
Good. Well, listen, Vicki, while I'm coming, I wonder if you would just give me about 10 or 15 minutes to sit down and talk to you just a little bit further about what I do with no obligation to you or me, either one. I think it would be good for you to just have your eyes opened a little bit as to what Mary Kay really is all about and what it could offer you.
Well, you really don't think it'll take any longer than that?
Well, you know, I'm saying 10 or 15 minutes, but we might get into this thing and you might find it's fantastic and you want me to take 30 or 40, but...
Depending on your level of interest, is that fair?
Well, yeah, it is.
Well, good. Well, listen, I'm going to drop some material off to you in the morning and let you just take a look at it in a day or two, read some of the facts about the business, and if you have any questions, write them down.
What time would be good Thursday?
Ooh, Robin, that's kind of hard to say. How about if I just give you a buzz when I get ready to leave work, and that way I won't leave you sitting?
Okay, well, that'd be great. I'll look forward to seeing you then.
Okay, wonderful. Well, I'll just plan on seeing you Thursday.
Okay, thanks so much, Vicki.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Robin is going to use dropping off Vicki's product as an opportunity to share with her a little bit more about what she does. Did you notice when the conversation went to Vicki's working long hours that it gave Robin the perfect opportunity to say, you know, Vicki, you really are to consider doing what I do in Mary Kay. She was natural, a very easy flow, but she was persistent, and that she really did have something great to offer her. She dropped off literature to Vicki so that she could read a little bit more about Mary Kay, which would make her interview go a little bit more smoothly because her prospect knew more of the facts. Sometimes you'll drop off literature and they won't have a chance to read it. Sometimes you will not have the opportunity to drop it off. It really doesn't matter. The key is to be flexible. When the opportunity arises for you to share Mary Kay with someone, I would say to do it now and not to make sure that everything fell into a perfect order. Be flexible, okay? Next comes the interview itself. Your goal is to paint the picture so well that your prospective recruit will want to join Mary Kay Cosmetics, being careful not to make exaggerated claims. Do you understand what I mean by that? Find out what appeals to her most about her current situation and find out what she doesn't like about what she's doing. That way, you can target areas specifically suited for her. Something that we use that will help you with your prospective recruits is called mirroring. And all that is body language to allow her to feel more comfortable with your approach. I will use Catherine as an example of role playing. Is that okay with you, Catherine? Okay, great. Mirroring would be like if Catherine, if I was talking to her a little bit about her job and she got excited about telling me about that, my voice would speed up a little bit as hers did, and I could lean forward and get excited with her. Maybe when she was talking about her family, she would sit back and relax a little bit. I would sit back and relax a little bit, allowing her that space and that freedom. So you want to mirror what she is doing. Gently touching her, smiling and nodding, those gestures help her feel more comfortable. Many times this is a person you don't know very well, but if you mirror and you correspond with her properly, she will feel right at home with you, and she will be more likely to want to become a part of your team. The questions you ask will help you determine her personality and will help you know how to respond to her. Let's see how Robin does it.
Well, I appreciate your sparing a few minutes for me then today, this afternoon. You know, I had told you I wanted to just take a minute and talk to you a little bit about what I do and about Mary Kay. Did you have an opportunity to read any of that material I left in view of your schedule, or?
Well, believe it or not, I did get to read the information that talked about how you make your money. I went right to the heart of the matter, I guess you could say. So I did get a chance to read that.
So is that the appealing factor?
A lot of it, yeah.
Vicki, I know what you basically do, but I want to know all the things about your job that you like and the things about your job that you don't like. It'd give me a starting place, and it would help me to understand if Mary Kay could even be a possibility for you, something that you could even think about.
Okay. Well, I guess the thing that a lot of people who work for a living don't like, the frustration with long hours, the inflexibility, not having the opportunity to, you know, kind of come and go as you please, or I would love to be able to take long weekends with my husband, that kind of thing, and that's kind of tough if you want to get off early on Friday, you know how that goes.
That is hard.
So I think that's probably one of my frustrations, and I guess the frustration that most people feel. You don't feel like your paycheck equals what you're worth, what you're doing. So I guess those are the two biggest things that probably aggravate me about my job, but by the same token, there are things I do like about my job. I love the people contact. I love the contact with the business community. I do like it sometimes, even when it's hectic. That doesn't really bother me. It's just sometimes you feel like you don't have control over it, so that's the frustration.
If you were to consider this for yourself, what would be the most important things that you would need to know?
Well, I guess first of all, what does it take to get into it initially? What kind of money are we talking about? Do I have the time in my schedule to really consider doing this, so the time factor? And one of the other things I guess that kind of came to mind is, where am I going to find people to be able to continue to have a business 6 months from now?
Okay, excellent questions. Let me just show you a copy of our showcase, because the thing that we do to get started, Vicki, is we purchase a showcase from Mary Kay that cost us $95. And basically it has demonstration products in it that you will hold your classes and your facials with. So that's pretty much how you get started. In addition to that, though, some people like to keep product on hand so that you are able to deliver right on the spot. I mean, you're one of these customers who loves to have the product yesterday. So
Yes,
I know that would
those.
be very important to you, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that's a real plus.
You also mentioned that in addition to how much did it take to get started, you needed to know how much time was involved and where you would get your contacts. And what's so interesting is those are the very questions that I had when I started, and really those are the very questions that most women have when they're thinking of a Mary Kay career, because those are the three most important things we need to know. Let's just talk first of all about the contacts situation, and I think you're one of these people who likes to get things free. I know, because every time I have an offer for you that you spend $30, you can get something free, you jump right on it.
Always.
Okay, most women are the same way. So it's very appealing to someone to know that they can have a skincare class, invite a few people in, and get hostess credit toward their products. I basically started my business with 3 people that I had gone to high school with, because my contacts were very limited. Do you know at least 3 people?
Oh, yeah, 3. 3's no problem.
Okay, well, do you know any more? Now, be realistic. You work with a lot of women. You work with a lot of people. And I know you have some family here, not a lot, but I know you have some. So don't you have a few more contacts than just 3?
Probably a few more, but you know how that goes. Some of them you just can't really count on. So I would say probably 3 to 5 that I really know that would be there for me and that I could count on.
Well, if you just know 3, just trust me, I can teach you what to do.
Okay, well, I'll take your word on that part then.
Okay. Any other questions about anything other than time? Because I do want to talk about that.
Yeah, because that's a real concern. So why
It
don't
sure
we...
would be. Basically, Vicki, know up front that we don't have any quotas. Mary Kay gives us the freedom and the flexibility to work the business when we want to. But I also think it's important for me to tell you that we make money when we work And when we don't work, we don't make any money.
Absolutely.
And I think it's only fair for you to know that going into it. But when you do put the time into it, you can make any amount that you want to, basically determined by whether you do one facial in one person or whether you do 5 or 6 at a time. But the time is really not an issue. I just want you to understand that you do need to work it to be able to make anything out of it. Any other questions?
Well, I guess other than, thinking about it from a part-time standpoint, because I guess that's really where I see myself coming from, is that really going to be enough of an opportunity for me to determine if it's really the thing for me and if I can really do what you do?
Well, then I need to ask you probably a very important question. Are you willing to make a short-term sacrifice for a long-term benefit? And by that I mean, are you willing to take a little bit of time and take some of your extra time to maybe hold a class a week to see how you can do with it, how you feel about it, and to begin to see yourself building a business? Because, Vicki, that is the only way that you will be able to see what you could do with it long-term.
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely. If you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I guess that's what I'm not able to see where I am now. There's not a light at the end of the tunnel. So, sure, to answer your question, if I thought that something short-term would pay off down the road, I would, that's not something that's a problem.
A lot of people want a lot, but they're not willing to give a lot to get a lot. And I think if you're willing to give back, I think you can see yourself building a business. I would in no way encourage you to leave a full-time job without having some basis of security for yourself. So if you can put a little time into it now to see what you can do with it, then maybe it'll help you make a decision later.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Any other questions?
No, I think we pretty much, the biggest things that come to mind, I think you've pretty much covered.
Are you sure?
I can't really think of anything else.
Okay, good. Well, let me just leave you with a thought then. I think that most women, myself included, are pretty intuitive, and we know when we want something, what we want. And probably right now, you have a pretty good idea of whether or not this would be something you would be interested in, don't you?
Well, I mean, yes, I do have some interest, or obviously, like you said, I wouldn't have said, come on over and talk to me this afternoon, but I'm just really not ready to make a decision right now. I guess I want to take grandmother's advice and sleep on it. So.
Okay. I want you to understand that I in no way would ask you to make a decision right now because I think sleeping on it is very important. But let me also leave you with this. When I leave, if you don't think any more about this, then it probably is something you really do need to think twice about. But when I leave you, if you cannot get it off of your mind and you think a lot about it, you sleep on it, you wake up in the morning and it's the first thing you think about it, then Vicki, you ought to do it. You really ought to consider it. I think that's probably the best test for making the decision of anything that you can do for yourself.
Makes good sense.
Well, so with that said, is there any reason why I couldn't call you in the morning and find out if you woke up thinking about it?
Are you going to get up early enough to call me in the morning,
Well, yeah,
Robin?
I sure will, because I'd love to have you working with me.
Okay, well, sure. Give me a buzz. You'll have to catch me before 8:30 if you're going to catch me before I head to the office.
Well, that won't be any problem.
Okay.
Okay, I'll talk to you in the morning.
Well, great. I'll just look forward to hearing from you in the morning then.
Okay.
How many of you are familiar with the terminology of feel, felt, and found? Ever heard that? I know how you feel. I felt the same way, but I found. Robin used that when talking to Vicki to help empathize with her. You know, really, recruiting is an emotional decision, and when you can tap into her emotions by relating to her and saying, I know how you feel, I felt the same way, but I found, don't you agree that that would make her a little bit more relaxed and that you really could understand where she was coming from? Follow your prospective recruit's lead. She'll get excited about some areas and let her expound on that a little bit. She'll want to voice her fears, and that way you can overcome her objections. But make sure that you stay on track. It's your responsibility to keep her on track because your goal is to give her enough information so that she can make a decision about becoming a Mary Kay Beauty consultant. At the end of the interview, Vicki was not ready to make that decision, and Robin allowed her to sleep on it and think about it a little bit more. But before she let her completely get out of the picture, she set up a time and date with Vicki to follow up so that she could get that decision. Many times you're going to do an interview At the end, they will not be ready to sign their agreement, and you must set up a time to follow up, or you will lose them. Set up that time to help them to make that decision. Sometimes after the interview, they're going to be ready and they're going to be excited. And then you hand them that agreement and say, is there any reason why you couldn't sign your agreement and order your showcase? I think you'd be great. Smiling and nodding and expecting a yes. Let's role play. Smile and nod and expect that yes response from her. Doesn't that sound easy? Great.
Cindy, that just seemed too easy. My interviews never go that smoothly. Would you mind going over how to handle some of the objections that come up?
Absolutely. I think the reason Robin's interview went so smoothly was her approach. Remember when she asked her, pretend that you are interested in becoming a Mary Kay beauty consultant? What would you need to know to make a decision about Mary Kay? By asking Vicki these questions, she addressed her concerns before they became objections. But many times you will get objections, and overcoming objections is an important part of the recruiting process. Let's take a look at the 6 steps to overcoming objections. The first one is to listen carefully to hear the real objection. Many times, the first or the second objection that you get may not be her real fear. And you want to keep asking questions. For example, if she said her objection is no time, I might say, other than time, what's really holding you back? Listening and sometimes finding out a little bit more to understand what the real objection is so that you know where to take it from there. I think listening is the key. Acknowledge the objection or the problem. I know how you feel. Acknowledging that you understand where she's coming from. We were all one-time prospective recruits, so we do know how she feels. So it won't be hard for you to acknowledge. And then empathize. I felt the same way. Or if you personally cannot relate with what she's saying, that you felt that way, someone else in my unit had that situation, and this is how she felt. Or some other success story that you know of, and this is how they handled that. And then offering a solution, but this is what I found, or this is what they found. Providing that solution, and this is how it worked for them. Offering a choice between 2 things, like would you rather order your showcase today or tomorrow? Wouldn't that be great? Or maybe if she's not quite ready to make that decision, sometimes to lead into that, I might say, you know, Jenny, when you do decide to become a consultant, would you rather order your showcase on a personal check or a credit card? Which would be better for you? And that gets me one step closer into that decision-making process, but giving her a choice between 2 things, and then be silent. Now, this is sometimes hard for us. And because I think we want to tell them too much, and sometimes we can become overzealous, but be silent, let it sink in, and then let her give you her decision. It may be another objection, and you'll need to go through that process again, but allow her to talk so you know where to take it from there. Doesn't that make sense? What are some of the other objections that you've had to overcome in your recruiting efforts? Carol.
What I get all the time is I could never sell cosmetics.
That's a great one. Why don't you stand up so we can do a little role playing about how you could overcome that. What I would do, ladies, at that point is ask her another question. Remember how important listening is? I need to find out what her objection really is. Carol, the objection that you're getting, would you say that you're more concerned about the cosmetics or the selling?
The selling.
The selling? Okay, I can appreciate that because most people have a fear about being in sales. Wouldn't you agree with that? Right. I think the fear of rejection. There's a lot of fears that we conjure up. The fear of imposing on our friends, with our sales. So what I want you to think about is what I thought about when I learned that Mary Kay Beauty Consultants taught other women proper skincare and application. I found out that we were teachers and we taught the skincare classes. And the company provides a step-by-step proven method for success through a videotape of the entire skincare class showing you teaching, through an audio cassette tape, the Perfect Start workbooks, and the consultant's guide. And that through the confidence and the knowledge that you got, that when you shared your Mary Kay facial with a friend, that you were giving her a great gift, a complimentary makeover. And then at the end of the facial, of course, if she decided to purchase products from you, then you made them available to her. But that I would feel comfortable about a teaching role. Do you feel that that's something that will help you to overcome that?
Yes.
Great.
Well, what if she did say cosmetics?
If she said cosmetics, then I would have to give a big smile because I could certainly understand where she was coming from. When I was introduced to Mary Kay Cosmetics, I had never worn a lot of makeup and didn't feel comfortable about being a beauty consultant. But I think if she says that, you might respond to her by saying, well, you know, could you get excited about being exposed to Mary Kay training and education that could teach you more about glamour for yourself as well as to share with other people? I know one of the most fun things about Mary Kay is we seem to get better looking the longer that we're in the company. And I think that's exciting because of just that exposure and that training that we have learned from being exposed to glamour. And I also have a picture in my flip chart and in my recruiting notebook that shows me with no Mary Kay. And then they can see that it is a learned process. Any other questions that you might have?
What if she says, I already have a job that makes good money?
I would say to her, you know, Tanya, I can appreciate that. I felt the same way when I was introduced to Mary Kay Cosmetics. I was happy with my income and with my job. But when I found out about the financial independence that Mary Kay beauty consultants and directors could have and the flexibility and freedom that they enjoyed, I became a little bit discontent with my present job and was more open-minded to hearing what Mary Kay really did have to offer. Now we're going to focus on follow-up. Do you remember how Robin set the appointment with Vicki to follow up? You've invested time and effort into this person, so following up is very important. And following up is getting a decision. That's all it is, yes or no. And you will get some no's, so don't be afraid of that. Your follow-up will make the difference in the success of your recruiting efforts. Let's see what happens when Robin follows up with a phone call to Vicki.
Hello?
Good morning, Vicki. It's Robin. How are you?
Well, good morning, Robin. I'm just fine.
Well, I'm just calling to see if you slept.
Well, yes, I slept.
Oh, you did?
Well, now wait a minute. I slept, but you didn't ask me what time I got to sleep.
Okay, well, what time did you get to sleep?
Let's just say it was late. I was thinking and rereading some of the material that you had left for me.
Well, that's exactly what I had hoped would happen, that you would wake up in the morning thinking about it, but you didn't. You stayed up half the night
Thinking about it.
That's right, I did.
Well, that's wonderful. Do you have any questions?
Not really any questions, Robin, but I guess just more, to put it simply, I guess I'm just scared.
Well, I think anytime you do anything that's new to you, there's some fear involved.
But don't you think something would be wrong with you if you weren't afraid?
Well, maybe you're right.
Well, as I said earlier, Vicki, there's some fear attached anytime you do anything that's totally new and different. But I'm really glad for that because that just tells me that you're going to be so much more conscientious about this. And I think you know that I am going to be here with you every step of the way and that you can count on that. Listen, is there any reason why we couldn't get together today to get that agreement filled out and get it submitted to the company for approval?
Okay, well, I'm planning on taking a late lunch. Is 1 o'clock good for you?
1 o'clock would be just perfect for me. And I remember exactly where you work, so I'll have no problem whatsoever getting there. And listen, while you're coming, be sure and bring your pocketbook so we can go ahead and put your showcase on Visa, MasterCard, or you can write a personal check.
Would that be any problem?
That's no problem, Robin.
Fantastic, Vicki.
I've always hoped we'd have an opportunity to work together because I know you'd be so good at this. And I look so forward to introducing you to the rest of the unit Monday night at sales meeting. And I'll see you in a little bit.
Okay, great.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Let's think about what we've just seen. Robin expected a positive response from Vicki when she followed up with her on the telephone. And she didn't waste any time in going and getting the agreement and the check so that she could get that decision confirmed and have her be her new recruit. When you follow up, if your person still can't make a decision, you might want to invite her to your unit meeting. What a perfect arena for you to introduce her to a professional, positive atmosphere and let her see a variety of personalities and successes. This might help her to make a decision about becoming a consultant. One of the main purposes of your unit meetings is to provide such an environment with which to introduce your guest. Remember, the way you introduce your guest is very important.
Could you show us how to do that?
I would love to do that. Debbie, why don't you come up front with me and let's role play just for a minute the proper way to introduce your guest. Let's say Debbie is my special friend and I've invited her tonight to my Mary Kay meeting. I would put my hand to her back to make her feel more comfortable. You are all co-workers and friends of mine in Mary Kay, but to you, you are strangers to Debbie, so I want to make sure that she feels right at home. I put my hand to her back and I'd stand close to her and I'd say, you know, I'd like to introduce somebody very special to me. This is Debbie. She is my special customer or my special friend, and I just wanted her to meet the wonderful people that I work with and see a little bit more about each of you, and I wanted all of you to get to meet Debbie because she's such a wonderful walking advertisement for my product. Debbie, could you tell us a little bit about yourself? And then Debbie's going to tell a little bit about who she is. The key here is to make her feel comfortable and warm and friendly. Everyone's got a sign around their neck that says, "Make me feel important." What you don't want to do is to say something like, I'd like to introduce Debbie, and she's really come here tonight to check us out. She's thinking about Mary Kay. Or, this is Debbie, and she's going to be my number 3 so I can get my red jacket. So make sure that you don't put her on the spot. Make sure that she is comfortable with your introduction so that she will sit there and watch all of the other consultants and think, maybe there's more to this Mary Kay than I realized. Does that help you with how to introduce her?
Yes.
Great. Let's thank you, Debbie, for doing that with us. After the meeting, following up is very important. She might have seen enough about the Mary Kay opportunity to make a decision. So after the meeting, you might say to her, Debbie, is Mary Kay something you might consider for yourself? Smiling and nodding and expecting that positive response.
What if she says she needs to talk it over with her husband?
I would probably overcome that by asking her another question by saying, Dolores, would your husband make that decision for you, or would he encourage you to make it yourself? And if she still needs to talk with her husband, recommend that she take the information home that she's received and let him read over it, and then set up an appointment so that you can talk to both she and the husband about the Mary Kay opportunity.
But Cindy, I would really feel intimidated to have to interview with the husband.
You know what, Michelle? The first time that I thought about interviewing with the husband, I felt the same way. But what I found was he was really helpful in the decision-making process most of the time. He was interested in hearing the marketing plan and how his wife could make some extra money. So I think you'll be more comfortable with the husband there. And if they make this decision together, they'll be a lot more successful team. Wouldn't you agree? Let's see how Joyce handles just such an interview.
So, Jerry, of all the information I've given you so far, how does it sound?
It sounds very interesting.
Well, I have one question. I'd like to know how much money she's going to make.
Well, Eldridge, that depends on how many hours Jerry is willing to put in. We make money several different ways. What we do is we buy wholesale and we sell retail. Our main avenues of income are the skincare classes and facials. A facial consists of 1 or 2 people that are present, and a class consists of 3 or more up to 6. And then, because we sell them the product, we build our reorder clients. And the more people you have buying the product, the more reorder money you will make. And that is another avenue of income. Another avenue of income is dovetailing. And that's a very funny word, but it's important. Dovetailing gives you freedom and control in your business. The freedom part is, if Jerry has something to do with the boys or something come up and she has to be home with you or with her full-time job, she will call someone and they will go to a class for her and she will be free to do whatever it is that she needs to do. But they're going to give you 15% of what they earn at that skincare class.
No, I like that.
Yeah.
Now, the way it worked for control is, like, for instance, for me, I wanted to make some part-time money at Christmas. So what I did is I double booked. I maybe booked 2 skincare classes on a Thursday afternoon, or maybe 2 on a Saturday afternoon about 5 o'clock. And that way I had an assurance that I was going to hold one of those classes that evening. Right. Now I guess you're wondering, so what are you going to do if both of those classes hold? Well, if both classes hold, you send another consultant to do one, and you go do one, and that evening you're going to make money from your skincare class, and the person that did that show for you will give you 15% of what they made at that other skincare class.
That's good.
Sounds good.
That's fantastic. Another avenue of income is recruiting. We basically get them from our skincare classes, facials, or referrals. And when you recruit people, you make money off their wholesale orders. And then another avenue of income is directorship. Tell me, Eldridge, do you think Jerry could do this?
Oh, I know she can do it. If she likes doing it, she can do it well.
Great. Well, Jerry, all you have to do is just fill out your agreement so we can get you started.
Well, actually, I have one more question. I work full-time. Do I have to quit my job?
Oh, no. We have many consultants that are doing Mary Kay very part-time. Some are working even full-time, or some are like me, making this a career the way I do. It is up to you. Jerry, do you all have any more questions?
No, I don't.
No, we don't.
Great. Well, is there any reason why you can't just fill out your agreement and decide how you're going to pay for your showcase?
Honey, I'm going to do it.
Great. I think it's a great idea.
And then when you come on Monday night to the meeting, you're going to get your Mary Kay pin.
I'm excited about that.
Great.
Joyce was good at getting Jerry's husband on her side by asking, "Don't you think Jerry'd be great at doing this?" She closed out her interview by asking if they had any more questions. Then she presented the agreement and was silent and allowed them to make the decision. She talked about the money because that's what Eldridge was interested in. If your prospect wants more information about the cars or the career path program, tell them and explain that to them. Otherwise, don't overwhelm them with more than they need to know.
Cindy, after you've done everything, what would you say if she still says no?
I would make her comfortable with that decision, and I would probably say something like, you know, Carolyn, I would have never shared the Mary Kay opportunity with you if I didn't feel you were a very special person. Now that you've seen the opportunity and know more about it, I'd like to ask you to be my talent scout. If you would listen to other people and to see others might be interested in doing what we do, you could refer them to me, because I know you would refer the type of person to me just like yourself, and those are the kind of people that I would be proud to have on my team. If you leave your prospective recruit with a positive note, then she will at some time later on, when circumstances change in her life, maybe be more open-minded to the Mary Kay opportunity and think, maybe now's a better time. She can call you, and there's your new business associate, your new beauty consultant. Do you have any other questions about recruiting today? We've heard a lot of different things. Can you think of something else that you might have a question about? Ladies, we've seen different personality types. We've seen different ways to present the Mary Kay opportunity. Your goal as a professional Mary Kay beauty consultant is to develop your own style. There is no perfect way. There is no perfect person. Your own personality, your own style, talking from your heart, sharing with other people a little bit more about what you do, because aren't you glad someone asked you?